Exactly. So that's why like in the moment I can't disagree with you. It's kind of like a deep performance, but I think what's lifting me up is walking out of this game. I didn't feel worried like, okay, we can't fix this, or like this is what we're going to be all the time now.
Yeah.
Because one, it was a tough defense. Two, I know that Sirianni's going to fix it, and he took on that accountability. Right after the game, he said it was pretty damn refreshing because we haven't heard it from coaches in probably like the last 20 years. Welcome back to the Philly Escape Pod, episode 16. So, yeah, Jackson was just popping off with some prices, right? Guesses on the how much our cheesesteaks cost at the game yesterday. That was a fully
Scarily
packed house.
accurate.
Fully packed house. He guessed 41 on the dollar, 2 cheesesteaks, 2 drinks. Absolutely obscene how much that cost. But anyway,
$12.99 a cheesesteak, $7.50 for a drink. Ridiculous.
honestly
Ridiculous.
crazy. But just as crazy is how sad of a day football was yesterday when you have the Eagles lose, me in my 2 fantasy teams probably losing this week, and then also the Cowboys winning, with the refs helping them out in that win yesterday against the Chargers on Sunday. So,
Yeah. Wait, you know it's
ridiculous.
bad when you'll happily pay $12.99 for a cheesesteak just to get over what's happening on the field.
To get over it, was it the drunk factor? I mean, the sun was pretty hot. I mean, my by the end of the day, my face was as red as that stadium was. Honestly,
These
there
end
was
of the day steaks. Well,
this
these
no.
steaks?
This is mid halftime steaks. But look, I mean, if you saw my neck right now, it's as red as how many red jerseys I saw in that stadium. It was actually this was how the Falcons fans gave us credit of showing up after week 1. This is me. I hate to say it, giving credit to the 49ers fans that showed up yesterday. It was kind of unbelievable how you looked up at halftime after that momentum switch, 7-3, and you just see a sea of red. It's
There kinda
kind
was
of
a
You
lot
could
of-
see it on
lot of guys,
TV.
yeah.
It was pretty obvious. There's a lot
You're
of
not
it out
you're not
there.
the first person to tell me that either. So a lot of people noticed that. But
That's
initial
interesting.
takeaways.
Surprised nobody got beat up
Right?
at the tailgate.
I'm not too
Yeah.
worried. I mean, there was definitely some things to be worried about. Hurts had a ton of suspect throws and was lucky not to get picked off.
Well, we
The
didn't complete a
line
pass
didn't
to a
play.
receiver after the first half.
Yeah, it.
Really?
I
I
mean,
didn't
and
notice
also
that.
just like we couldn't as a team.
Not one.
We couldn't finish. Like we had I think what was it? We had 5 more first down conversions for the 49ers than the Birds. So like we couldn't take advantage of converting third downs. And that 91-yard pass and to get no points on that, like that
Brutal.
right there is not only the difference in the game, but just such a momentum swinger, especially when the 49ers come back and score right before halftime.
That was
So-
brutal. I mean, also,
That being
Yeah.
said, we only lost by 6. Like we played a terrible game against a pretty decent, team in the 49ers and
yeah,
just lost. So that was a game all the way to the end.
I really feel like we beat ourselves too. Honestly, like I don't think the 49ers were doing anything special. Like they weren't like outplaying us per se. I just think I don't know, that play to Rager on the side, or was that Rager? I can't remember.
It was Rager.
Yeah, Rager on the
miss,
sideline when he stepped out of bounds. I mean, if we
Yeah,
went
so
up 10-0 right there, I think the game's completely different.
the rule is 2 feet, and I think he caught the ball literally a fraction of a second before his second foot got down.
Well, no, you're
Yeah.
thinking of something else because the rule was he can't be the first person to touch the ball.
No, he
since
stepped
So he
out
can't
of
be the
bounds.
first person at all. Well,
So yeah,
gotcha.
I mean, say he gets
So I
tipped up
thought-
somehow, he's the second person to catch it. That's
I thought
legal.
there was a different thing when the defender forces you out, and I guess they didn't call that because it definitely looked like the cornerback
Right.
forced him
Technically
out.
didn't force him out. He just kind of was
He-
moving him over because
I
Yeah.
mean, nudged him off his route, which then led to him going out of bounds. It sounds like a force out to me.
I mean,
Oh.
sideline played
it
the
wasn't
defense there.
blatant. It wasn't blatant,
Bef-
but it
but
still
before
sucks.
before we get into the details and break everything down, let's just talk about general feelings and I guess just not before we talk about what lost us the game. how did you feel overall about this game? And I'll go to you, Jackson, since Brits and Flay just went. But my feelings are here that just key takeaways, right? The Brandons are hurt. That was one thing we talked about last week. No big names are injured coming out of last week. They fully stayed healthy. And then you saw a lot of Gainwell. You saw him being that second guy. You don't hear his name or Boston Scott really at all called throughout the day. Also, just going into this game, this wasn't a game we were supposed to win, but we could have. And that's what I take away at the end of the day. This is probably one of the most acceptable losses that we could ever have as Eagles fans, because we weren't ever supposed to win this game in my mind. But we had the chance to take it away, and like Britt said, we could have went 10 up. We could have been 9 up, but you had all these weird things happen, like the Rieger illegal touching flag. You had the blocked field goal. When we're charging and we're up, 3-0. So I mean, could be 9-0 by the end of the half, and then you're also getting the ball back. Complete momentum changes, and then also just a loss of the game in the trenches, where that's a game that the Eagles usually win in that situation, but not what lost us the game. But Jackson, just how do you feel after watching that game yesterday?
For me, it sort of felt like I felt like last week we were saying that it sort of felt like everything was going right. We felt like for the first time since Carson Wentz left, or sort of went downhill, that we felt comfortable with the offense on the field, and that like we were going to make the first down.
Yep.
And and we felt like like Jalen Hurts wasn't playing hero ball, and like last week or last game, it just felt like to me like he was playing hero ball, and I didn't feel confident that we were going to get the first down. He was going for like much deeper passes, I think, instead of just like taking like the short passes to get like the good gains. I felt like in the beginning of the game he was sort of dinking and dunking, but we moved away from that. The defense, it just didn't seem like it was able to stop them at all, really. You know?
I mean, I don't know about that. I think the defense played pretty good, but we just
Yeah,
couldn't get to the
at the
quarterback.
same time, they didn't let them score easily, but we had the 49ers go on like so many drives that ate up so much of the clock and took away from our ability to score. And then
Yeah.
like even like on that Quez Watkins throw, like where we got it to Quez Watkins, once we were in the red zone, for me, it just felt like hopeless. For some reason I didn't feel confident that we were going to score when I would like to feel like we would score in that situation. You know what I mean? I just
Yeah.
didn't think the vibe was there for some reason.
It just seemed like the
I
game
was
plan.
off, man.
It just felt like the game plan was a little maybe just wrong for that like while like going against the Niners. They have
Yeah.
a good defense, and I don't know. I don't think we exploited their holes like we could have.
So let's jump right in then.
I wanted to
But
say one more thing
yeah,
about what you said
just
earlier,
go ahead.
Greedy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I almost did feel like we were like supposed to win this game. I felt like the Niners don't have a crazy good offense. Like, I mean, they have a good rushing game, but like that's really much it. And their defense is like good, but like our defense played really good last week. Our defense played good this week, and our offense looked like it was rolling. And just to come out and score only 11 points, and basically when it was in garbage time, like that was disappointing.
For how good I thought we were after week 1, I would think that we would win this game also.
I'm not saying we were we're gonna go out there and beat like the Chiefs, but like beating the Niners I think was very doable.
Like
I
I still
think-
think
it's
we're a
definitely
capable team, but-
reasonable and within reach. Yeah, I think that honestly, there's only the Chiefs and Tampa Bay. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of another team that's like they're definite. Like,
Yeah.
we're not gonna really win
Yep.
those.
Chiefs
Every other
lost
game,
their
I think we
first-
have a chance of being competitive. And
Patrick Mahomes lost his first game in September ever. On Sunday
Yeah,
night.
no, and it's crazy. But to add on to your point, then, so I still think we weren't supposed. I mean, go back to the season. What do we all say
Oh,
in
yeah,
the beginning of our predictions? We thought we were going to get killed this game, and then I mean, the
Yeah.
Niners did come from a 41-33 win against the Lions. I get it, it's the Lions. It's a totally different team, but I think coming into this week, I think it brought us back down to earth where. I mean, let's be honest. We had some people calling Super Bowl, after week one overreaction.
Yep.
Super Bowl team. I think it brings us back to earth a little bit, and you got to realize, like, this game. If anything, this game told me we're not a Super Bowl team. Like, a Super Bowl team wins these games. Like,
I mean, yeah.
No doubt in my mind. I mean,
yeah,
even if it's a
And there
small
was-
score game, You come out win. You find a way to win this type of game.
I think you got to say though, like we're not a Super Bowl team yet. Like we could develop into a Super Bowl team, I think later on in the season. But I think it just shows us that we have growth that needs to like occur.
Yeah. I mean,
I think that's a high bar to reach.
I'm not calling Super Bowl like Jackson was,
I'm not.
but nine
I'm
or
not
ten,
calling Super Bowl.
9 or 10
I'm just
wins is
saying.
still in the board.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
we're still
and
a
I
good
mean,
team.
I
And we can
think
get better.
let's hope that we play more games like week 1 than we play like yesterday.
But this
And again,
yeah.
even like yesterday was only a touchdown away. We go for that field goal instead of that wacko Philly special generic brand play, and it's a whole different story.
Yeah.
The wacko flacco in there. Maybe it's a different play too. I don't know. Yeah, no, it's the Super Bowl is hard to say, but like where I stayed 9-8 after week 1, and some people moved up probably like 10-7 type of thing, and after this week they probably moved back to 9-8. I stayed where I was because this was the prove it game. This was the game where we had to see, are they actually something really special where you find a way to win this type of game when you have control of the entire game. I mean, they won this game by the numbers, by possession, right at the half, all the way to that 2 minutes at the last part of the half where Garoppolo marched right downfield in the last 2 minutes, of that stretch, and then 7-3, and then we were kind of done after that. We lost the momentum, we lost the vibe from there.
Yeah.
So
it was just frustrating. I think this game to watch because it felt like, to me, like they were just grinding the entire game. And there were so many long drives. It was just frustrating to watch because it felt like we weren't going to stop them. They weren't going to get a big play, and they were just going to eat up so much of the clock.
I mean, you can see it in Garoppolo's numbers: 22 completions and not even 200 yards. They were dinking and dunking for sure, and it was working for them.
Yeah.
I think they realized you just have to hit our linebackers. Like our linebackers can't do anything. We're gonna get the pressure.
We still have trouble wrapping people up on the first tackle.
Oh my God,
it seems
so
like we
annoying.
need 2 tacklers. There's like no one-on-one wrap ups.
The open field tackles are just not there.
It just feels like our front seven, or like our front four, like they go up, they create pressure, and then it sort of opens up that middle of the field for the linebackers to cover it. If you just attack that area, you're gonna get like a completion because our linebackers can't cover and they're not gonna wrap up as much as like you'd like them to, like Britt is saying.
Yeah, it's the 3Ds. It's the dink, dunk, and Debo. Just throw it to him short, and he'll take it for 19 yards like it's nothing. But I think part of that is part of Jonathan Gannon's defensive schemes where he runs the cover 2 deep, where he has 2 safeties in the back, and he doesn't really have that one safety back, where he doesn't put that safety in the box. So you have that less pressure in the middle and up front if you're sending him on the blitz, but then you're focusing more of the coverage of guys. So I think the focus honestly is you bend a little bit, but as long as you make good passing plays, defensive plays, that's where we'll win. I mean, that's where we stopped the Falcons last week. I mean, they were running on us all day, but you still had Matt Ryan. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo 189 yards, Matt Ryan under 200 yards too. I mean, defense keeping, for the first 2 weeks keeping to 6 and 17 points. I mean, you can't put any blame on the defense here at all in my mind.
I was just gonna say I just don't think this is a defensive loss. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, like I said earlier that Niners like offense isn't crazy good, but they do have they have a great running game, and holding them to 117 yards is pretty good. Like between all their backs that they have, and the way they like to play the game. I mean, like it's not unusual for them to put up over 200 rushing yards with that.
I mean, I think our defensive line played good. I think our defensive backs played good. Like Steven Nelson, like specifically, he was killing it. I thought. I don't know. It just was it was just a boring game to watch, because like the defense was on the field most of the game, then our offense would go on and just not do anything.
I think it was a boring game because of the offense just could not get anything
It
going.
was a really boring game for sure.
So it's the offense. I think we all decided that at this point. But what about the offense really stopped our momentum from, not even momentum, because we were dominating the game, but what stopped us from just getting in the end zone, the entirety of the day? I mean, you're looking at Jalen, 12 from 23, 190 yards, 82 rushing yards in the day. The most of all the backs, with Miles going 13 for 55 and Gainwell not doing much, 14 yards in the day. What about this offense gave us the loss?
Well, I mean, clearly the fact that like that is a stat though, right? That we didn't complete a pass. The last pass we completed was like 7 minutes left in the second quarter. Like that. Why was he not able to complete a pass? Was he in his own head? Was it like the play calling, and what happened?
I don't know. It was.
Yeah, I think overall the play calling in this game was definitely not
I agree.
comparable to week 1.
I
I think
agree.
we kept it simple and we did the fundamentals really well week 1. And I think when you look at our play calling week 2, we tried to do a little extra fancy. We had like one good option play where Jalen and I think it was Sanders ran basically side by side, and it was a little pitch to get the first down on a third. But other than that, like we did that like maybe 2 more times and they all flopped. I think week 1 we were following the blocker. We were getting into blocking positions with our receivers and our linemen were getting up to the second level, and you just didn't really see any of that this game.
I would have loved to see, especially in the red zone, like more like slant crossing routes. I feel like we were doing that so much in the first game, and it was working. Like we were running like picks, like what Zach Ertz was doing, and like I wanted to see like our slot guy and our tight end kind of like run some more crossing routes down the middle of the field. I think we're getting way too we're way too stretched out in the sidelines, and I think this is something that Jalen Hurts struggled with last year because he was only throwing, and I mean I don't think it's his fault. I think it was just a play calling thing. He was only throwing outside the hashes. He wasn't throwing down the middle. He wasn't throwing bullets, and I think in week 1 he was doing that, and then we strayed away from it.
Yeah, I don't know how much of this was because obviously screens were the name of the game last week, and I feel like this week we moved to those long ball type plays down the field. So I feel like Sirianni was switching it up where he was kind of trying to throw the 49ers off and give them a different look. But I think you're right. I think you just need to keep it simple, put your guys in the position to succeed, and just going on those. I mean, those slant routes will work for Quez Watkins, Devontae Smith, Rager all day. That's the name of their game. I mean, their route. I mean, they may other than Devontae Smith and Quez, you don't have guys on this team that have that kind of natural speed. So, but they do have that route speed. I think on crossing routes and things like that. So I feel like you got to put them in those types of positions.
Yeah, if you look at like I mean probably the best offense in the NFL is the Chiefs, and I mean yeah they take the top off sometimes with Tyreek Hill, but most of the time they're throwing slants down the middle to Travis Kelce, let him make a play, like they're even Tyreek Hill will come back on a curl short route, and he'll get like 7, 8, maybe like and might break out for an extra 10 yards or something like that, and then they take the top off. Then they take the top off on a first down or a second down or something like that.
You just can't take the top off every play, and that's what it started
Yeah.
to seem like you were doing.
Yeah, that's what they were doing this week, and that's what they did a lot last year, which was a utter failure, obviously.
It's just such a
Yeah.
low percentage play. You can't rely on that. I
Yeah.
think
They're
realistically.
explosive plays for a reason. They stand out for a reason because they are so rare. But you got to rely on the things that are there for you, and I think that's why it felt like such a boring game. It was like either okay, one big play or just nothing, like 3 and out, or just like these slow nothing's happening. I mean they relied on the run a lot. I mean it's what we've been asking for these past couple of years with Doug, and they did that. But this seemed like the game where it's like, all right, you're handing it off a lot. Can we kick up the passing a little bit? Like we're down,
Yeah,
and
especially
even though we're not down much, it still feels like we're down a lot right now.
Yeah.
San
Especially-
Fran has a nice like front seven too, so running against them is just playing into their strength.
Yeah, they do have a sick D line and linebacker core.
I do think
Yeah.
with all this being said, at least this wasn't like a horrible team that we went against. Like San Fran does have like
No, it
potential
is
to go far in the playoffs. and
No,
everything.
yeah.
Yes.
it is a little
I don't
encouraging
think
that we can go
anyone
up
in
to a
Philly
team.
should be overreacting right now. Like it sucked that we lost, but this is not anything to start ringing alarms about. Like let's take this on the chin, see what we do next week. If anything, this is a great test of the team's mentality.
I mean, some people were even
Also,
saying
yeah.
Like before the season started, San Fran has a chance to make the Super Bowl again. Like they're really like a quarterback away, really.
People are saying that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole problem last year was Garoppolo was hurt, and now he's
Yeah.
healthy.
I mean, he's good, but he's not great. But I mean, if you think about it, you put a better quarterback on that team, and they're a scary team.
I mean,
I-
Garoppolo led them to an almost undefeated record. So like, yeah,
No,
like,
I know,
you
I
upgrade
know.
the quarterback, it's ridiculous.
He's good, but I'm
Yeah,
saying he's
I
not
mean,
great.
That's why you go and get Trey Lance. So, all right. So, I mean, yeah, no, I think, but just to kind of recap too, with the offensive line, I feel like they did their job. I mean, they hung out there all day. They gave. I'm watching from the game, right, from the stadium, and I'm just telling myself like, man, Jalen has all day to get this ball out there, and so he has all the time. But it was just like either the separation wasn't there for his receivers, people weren't open, or he just had nowhere to go to.
Everybody's
mean,
downfield for some
Did you
tough
ever
reason.
deep.
see times when there were open men that he didn't throw to?
That I have to go back and break down. Didn't
I
have
didn't
enough
see
time
that
for that
too
one.
much,
But
really.
I
yeah,
feel like a lot of the guys that he did throw to, especially like what you were saying, Brits, outside the hashes, were like definitely under pressure. So, I mean, I don't know if he had any other open looks, but he definitely wasn't taking smart
he was
throws. And
he was throwing a
putting-
couple
yeah.
times downfield and into like double
Yeah.
coverage and stuff. And I don't think that's like all his fault, just because everybody was downfield on those plays. Like we
he's
didn't have
gotta do
anybody,
something.
we didn't have any like third look in the middle or something like that, where you can just get a nice 5 yards or something like that.
Why? Yeah, why not? Why not help him out?
Dallas
I mean,
Goddard
what?
was completely overlooked. He had like 2 catches or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
he didn't have
Yeah.
a catch until the fourth quarter.
There.
As his fantasy owner, I was madly disappointed. But so I'm going to bring it up. The 4th and goal scenario. 1, was it the right call? 2, obviously it wasn't though. 2, what do you guys do in that scenario as far as the type of play that you run, or do you just kick the field goal?
In my
Hindsight-
head, just kick field goal.
Hindsight is 20/20,
Field goal.
but I did say as the play was going on, right when they were deciding whether to go for it or not, I said we should take
Yeah.
the points. I said it right there. I think
Yeah.
we should have took the points.
It's just because they were up like 7-3, right? It would have made it a 6-7 game, right?
It would have been
Well, it would have
6-0.
been a 6
No, it
6
was
0 game.
3. It was 3-0. It would have been a 6-0 game.
Yeah, you got to take the points,
But
right?
then, yeah,
Especially after that
we missed
91
out on
yard
those
pass where you
points.
shouldn't be there anyway. You shouldn't have got that play. That's a play that just happens that doesn't happen.
You gotta make points out of it at the end of
Yeah.
the day. I mean,
That's
yes, of course I'm in the stadium saying you should go for it, but I mean that's 6 beers deep, as drunk as the guy next to me. So you got to get the points out of it. You got to kick the field goal. Also, I don't like the call. I mean, it's cool that it was like the Philly special, but just I mean, I don't know. Well,
There's too many things
yes.
wrong with that play.
But I think if anything's telling of this play, it's where's your Jordan Howard? Where's your goal line
I
running
would
back
have rather
that
just ran
that
a
you
regular play, like gut it up.
For me,
why didn't they just go down the middle with a couple like on first down or something or second down?
Yeah,
For me,
why
I
you
feel
don't
like
do
there's a
that?
Why
time-
don't?
There's a time to go for it on 4th down, and I think it's
Yeah.
in the second half when you're down in the game. It's not in the first half when you're up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
That's why we should have went for the points. But still,
but
even if you are going to go
part of
for
me-
it, I mean, Hurts can run, so why are you going to give Greg Ward the ball, who can't throw at all, and then give him his only option on that play was Hurts? There was like no other players making a slant to
Right.
that
He
side
should
of
have
the
ran the
field.
ball in too. Like
And
It's a
also,
terribly
I was yelling at the
drawn
Sirianni
out
screen,
play,
like just run it in at this point. It's a broken play, dude. The Hurts ain't catching this ball. There's 2 guys on him.
but
Yeah.
also, it's like we give them the ball there, and then they go on like this massive drive that eats up like the entire second quarter, and they score at the end of it. So like it absolutely changed the game.
that was
Closes
a
out the
huge
Part of
quarter.
me-
swing. Yeah.
Part of me thinks that, and this could be completely untrue, obviously, but part of me thinks that Sirianni was like, you know what? We're gonna run the Philly special, and we're gonna blow everybody's mind right now. And if we score it, everybody's gonna love me. And that's partly why I think they did that, because it just doesn't seem like the right time to do that. Like
I
It was a
mean,
weird play.
it was a weird time to make that call.
it's a big risk.
He would have, but
I would
he would have been a
I mean,
hero if we got
But
that.
I would say it's a big reward. So let's say that happens, they score the touchdown. The stadium goes wild. If we stop the 49ers from doing a 2-minute drill towards the end there, it's 10-0 and we're getting the ball back. I mean, there's kind of some reasons here to support it if it works out, but it's a big
still
risk,
didn't
big
like it.
reward. You gotta take the average. I mean, Britt, you said it's hindsight, but it's also hindsight from all NFL games ever. Like you take the points in that scenario. Like you gotta play it safe
right.
because you have to. It's a low scoring game. It's gonna stay like that the rest of the game. You already have a
could tell
feel for
that,
what the
yeah.
game is. It's not like the Falcons where okay, we got the lead and we're just gonna still dominate and still continue to keep this with us.
Offense was struggling, and we got a
so-
break with that 91-yard play, and we just didn't take advantage of it.
All right, so let's go across the board then. All right, okay. This is overreaction recording Monday, to be released tomorrow or on Wednesday. Is it this? I wouldn't go that far, probably not. But
Wanted to see
let's
Gomez.
let's talk about it a little bit, right? So we just talked about the offense. Let's talk a little bit about the defense. I mean, again, this is like the Jimmy Johnson motto, right? If you hold him to 17, it's a good day. It's a beautiful day.
You should
I
win
mean,
that
you
game.
just don't do that in today's NFL, in today's passing NFL. So I can't give any blame to the defense here. The only thing that I can put blame towards is, I mean, we let up 4 4th and 1s, and let's be honest, most people are going to get that with a QB sneak every single time, one for a touchdown. But you had Garoppolo get one, and then I think another guy get one where there was a tackler in there. Somebody stopped him. I know for Garoppolo, Alex Singleton, he had a big hit on him and just didn't wrap up. That would have been the turnover. So you had a couple of those 4th downs for the 49ers that would have gave us the ball back. So it's just, those are tough ones. Those are tough ones to swallow. But at the end of the day, you held the 49ers to 7 points through 3 quarters. So
Yeah.
offensive loss. I don't know what else to say there. I'll just say a B, maybe a B plus, just for doing that. I mean, 2 straight weeks, 17 points. But I don't know what else you could do a little bit better other than play Sweat more than Kerrigan, because he got more points than him, or he got, sorry, more plays than him. And that was kind of questionable. But I just don't know what you do differently here, honestly.
I can get down with a B. There was a handful of plays that, and it's nothing to the players. You're just like, they were like a footstep away from a pick. That turnover that Slay picked up the fumble that got brought back because of the flag. I think the only thing we weren't able to do was get to Garoppolo and get a sack.
I was just gonna say that.
And honestly, that's probably just more credit to San Fran's O line than our D line, honestly. I can be down with a B.
I was thinking B as well, and I can't go any higher than that because of the fact that we didn't get to the quarterback. So
For me, I think I'm gonna go like a lot lower than you guys. I felt like, like we only held them to 17 points, but that's literally only because they have such a slow, methodical play style. They did everything that they wanted to us on offense. We couldn't stop them at all. I think every single time, it felt like after a certain point in the game, they got every single first down they wanted to. And it's like, I think if we want to have a good defense, you have to be able to stop the opponent, and we literally couldn't stop them at all. So I'd give them probably like a C minus or like a D plus. I don't know. I thought it was bad. I thought we held them to the low amount of points, but we literally couldn't stop them at all. So I don't know. I don't know how you can justify that.
I'm gonna go back to what you said earlier, where the 49ers won the time of possession game. Sometimes you need a good offense to play a little bit of defense and to hold that ball for a little bit longer than we did, and kind of get those first downs too.
But I agree that the offense should have been out on the field more. But the reason they won the time of possession battle was because we literally couldn't stop them at all. And they were just I think they saw that and they were like, okay, we'll do a slow, methodical game plan because they can't stop us.
I see your I see your point, but I mean it really boils down to the scoreboard, though.
You can't give a team a B if they can't stop the opponent.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean,
you gotta look at it.
You say they didn't stop the opponent, but I mean, the scoreboard is what really matters, and they got 17 points.
We only left 17 points.
Just because the offense,
the reason we let up so few points is because each one of their drives was 10 minutes long.
Yeah, but we also, our offense couldn't give a defense a break because we couldn't get any long drives going.
We got 4 drives.
What?
Yeah, but Jackson, a bad defense lets up 41 points last week. In talking about the Lions here,
that if they were a worse defense, they would have scored quicker. But we couldn't stop them, but we could stop them for short gains. So it was almost more detrimental. It just felt like it was just we were killing ourselves. I don't know.
I think it was more detrimental.
We only had one touchdown in the first half.
because we couldn't score, it felt detrimental because we didn't have enough time to catch up. So
it just felt because they didn't have that, it felt like we didn't have a third quarter or a second quarter almost.
I get what you're saying. It makes sense, but at the end of the day, when you hold them to 7 throughout 3 quarters of the game, you can't. You have to be able to score at least 20 points from your offense here. In order to win games.
I'm gonna say this. I think if we win that game 20-17, Jackson's giving the defense an A.
I gotta agree.
Yeah.
I have to agree.
I think that's a C minus defense. You can't let them go on that long of drives. That was just them owning us completely.
I will say though,
Give me another pitch.
something that we're missing for a second week in a row, right? And missed all of last year. No big turnovers. And to Flay's point, the flag that stopped the one turnover. So it's like
Yep.
you need, even if it's one play in this game, that's all the difference. So like they gotta figure it out. If they're gonna let this run work against them so that they could stop passing plays and stop big plays downfield, I better start to see interceptions, because otherwise it's not gonna work out. It's gonna come down to these short or low scoring games like this where, it matters how much time you have, how much time of possession. If you get the ball back and turn it over, they need to start making some big plays. I mean, they got Slay, they got Nelson, you got Anthony Harris. You don't have McLeod back yet, but you got guys that can catch the ball. So
Yeah.
need to make the plays. All right, so let's kick it over real quick to the offense. I would say it's hard to give a bad grade because I think of the line right away and I think of how well they played, but what brings them down is more so the play calling. So it's almost less, partly the execution. I mean, the receivers still got to get separation. Jalen still has to make better decisions in some of those cases, but you got to put your guys in the position to succeed. I would go C minus here. I don't know. It's in the C range. It's not a complete F, honestly, but you got to be able to score. You got to be able to finish. I mean, the score matters at the end of the day, even though we dominated the game for the most part in the beginning.
I'm gonna go even
I
lower
would
than
say
that.
C. I'm gonna say C minus for me.
I'm gonna throw them into the D category just because I think there wasn't fluent. We missed out on so many different opportunities to get points, and it came down to a lot of decision making by Sirianni. So I think the bulk of it goes on him, but
Yeah.
still I think the offense was a D performance.
I think I'm gonna agree with you guys. It
Here
was
comes
bad.
an
I'm gonna
A
go
plus
C
from Jackson.
I think I'm
Yeah.
also gonna go C minus just because I thought they flashed some big plays, like that Rager play. I think 9 times out of 10 he doesn't step out of bounds, and that's a big touchdown. I think the pass to Quez Watkins, that was huge, and that's like definitely promising for the future. I think that like shows like I think that's gonna be something that we're gonna see more often, and I like seeing those big plays. I thought they had some flashy plays, and I liked it. Obviously, it was disjointed, and there were a lot of bad plays. There were not enough dink and ducks. We were playing too much hero ball. I'm giving it a C minus. It just wasn't good, but we had some good plays.
Yeah, I'm gonna mix what you just said, Jackson, and Brits. So let me ask you, Brits, does this worry you about the offense in like the next couple future games, basically?
It doesn't worry me. It would probably worry me if this was week 1. But now, the way
Yeah.
the way that I saw us go against, I know obviously there's some two completely different defenses, and obviously San Francisco's defense is way better than the Falcons. But like the way that I saw that game was it just wasn't even the same game plan. Like we just strayed away from that type of game, that style of play completely. And I think next week and the rest of the season we'll see him probably like changed up, go back to that kind of fluent style of offense.
Yeah, I don't think Sirianni
yeah.
is the type of guy to like see that fail and then just go
Yeah.
right back to it.
Yeah, I don't think he is either.
Exactly. So that's why, like in the moment, I can't disagree with you. It's kind of like a D performance, but I think what's lifting me up is walking out of this game. I didn't feel worried. Like, okay, we can't fix this, or like this is what we're going to be all the time now.
Yeah.
Because it was a tough defense. 2, I know that Sirianni's going to fix it, and he took on that accountability. Right after the game, he said it was pretty damn refreshing because we haven't heard it from coaches in probably like the last 20 years. For anybody in Philadelphia, just taking accountability for being the guy that takes the most blame. So, I mean, he said it. He called the wrong plays. Got to fix it.
I think he knows what he did wrong.
Yeah,
It's like
I think so.
This is his second game as a head coach ever. It's just back to the drawing board, get better.
Right.
New team, new coach. You got to remember these type things. This is a good experience game. Get this under your belt. Know what to do in these situations in the future.
You're gonna have to lose games. You just gotta learn from it.
And special teams, this was like a meh. They didn't help us out anymore, but they didn't mess anything up.
Actually, no. So I'm gonna disagree there. I think there was at least 3 punts that San Fran had that landed within our own 15 yards in. and most of those it was who was back there? Rieger. It was like let it bounce, and it didn't get to the end zone. It got like stopped short, San Fran kept it in and pinned us back. I think we got out of the one with the 91-yard pass, but yeah.
Yeah,
Little
not
thing,
good,
little
not great field
things.
positioning.
Yeah.
And
Little things.
I think special teams is one of those things where if you notice it, then it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would probably stick with like a solid
if we don't nitpick them at all, we're just gonna let them
I would
slide off
say
season. I'm not gonna allow that.
just middle of the pack C, because it wasn't like
C.
it like helped them out. They really messed with them, So
the kicking
all
team
right.
was decent. I think they did their job.
Well, actually, let me think. Yeah, let me think about this. Maybe they
I
do
was more
get
so
it.
talking about punts. Sorry.
Yeah, honestly, maybe they do get the D or F just for the blocked field goal. I mean, that's 3 points on the board. That changes things.
It's
So
true.
maybe they, just because of that alone, maybe they go to the F category. All right, let's wrap up shop here. Okay, we don't have to go through. We'll just do the quick one too. We may need to revisit this though. 14 season interceptions. I'm still holding on. I'm still saying yes because there are 15 games left. So I don't know. I feel like they can do it, but it's tough. It's tough. I say they get the 14. They get right at 14.
Can I petition this to change it to 14 turnovers? Just general turnovers? Because I think we could do that.
Might be more than that. I don't know.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I said no to it. I said no to this last week, right?
I think so.
Pretty sure
yeah,
I
I
did.
probably could have put up what you guys said.
Sticking with the no?
I mean, I'm sticking with the no.
I also
obviously.
think, guys, real quick, I think we definitely need to just talk about the Brandon Graham injury and how we think it's going to affect us.
Yeah.
Moving forward, definitely didn't touch on that.
Which brings us to Josh Sweat, but Brandon Graham, right? Obviously, he's a big loss. This is something that's not like, oh, we have depth, we'll be fine kind of thing. He's a on the field, leader, on and off the field leader, and then just his talent. I mean, he's probably going to get another 8 sacks or at least 7 this season. So he's a big loss. How do you guys feel about that scenario? Does losing him put another L on the board for us?
I mean, it's definitely an L. It just sucks
in
to
general,
see him
yeah.
almost go down every year at this point. Like at some points, and I don't know, man. The injuries on our team we can't stay away from them.
Do you think this is sort of like?
I was gonna say, hopefully the draft
got ripping the Band-Aid off.
I mean,
in that we're gonna have to lose Graham eventually because he's starting to get older.
That's a lot of what the talk is now, because it's like he's past his 30s, and same not with Brooks, because you have to hold on to a guy like that for an offensive line. You just don't find guys like that. But it might be one of those things where it's like, all right, you have Josh Sweat now, and you would have to give Graham an extension soon. So that's
It's a good opportunity to see what we have in Derek Barnett. I think obviously Graham's a huge loss. We're lucky that we have 2 startable players at that position still, and we still have Kerrigan in the back. Milton Williams, I'm sure, can slide over to defensive ends. So we can still have 4 defensive ends. It's still a huge loss, but yeah, I think it's sort of like we're gonna have to get rid of Graham eventually, and this sort of lets us know how we'll be without him, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think if there's one thing that's good is I think out of all of our team, the entire depth chart, it's probably the deepest we go is the defensive line.
It's the deepest and most talented.
Yeah.
Which
so I
it
guess
kind of makes it just made you think, like, with Graham on this team, it was kind of like, holy shit. I mean, we had like 5 starting tight end or defensive ends.
Yeah, I mean we saw Barnett, we have Ridgeway, and then Milton Williams. And then, I mean, those are like
got Hargraves on the inside. He's not a defensive end, but
I'm just talking about guys that can potentially fill in for.
Yeah.
I think that realistically with this, we might have to come to terms with the fact that this might be the end of Brandon Graham's career potentially. I know a ruptured Achilles is like a horrific injury and very tough to come back from. I think especially as you're older. And somebody like this big, can he even come back from like a ruptured Achilles at this point?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that what Lane Johnson had, or was it something different? Was it ankle?
I thought he was like a
I think
injury.
He had an ankle, I think.
I don't think he was though.
I think he was ankle, but it wasn't like this to this level. It couldn't have been. I don't think
ruptured is like it entirely snaps basically.
Oh, I know. I'm saying but I know like if your guy's that size, it's that area, that ankle area, the Achilles is probably the worst because
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got to be so strong for them.
yeah.
And then on the other side, Brandon Brooks. I mean, again, so this was the Landon Dickerson game. You didn't know if he was going to play this season, and because of injury and just health, but he comes in and obviously he has to learn. Right, he's a rookie. He's just starting off. I'd have to go back and watch the plays to see how he to kind of like grade him out and see how he actually did. But from what I've heard, he was like not great, but like at the same time, it's his first game, so I
Yeah.
can't ask for a lot.
How many sacks did we let up? I didn't see the number.
Two.
At
I
least 1, 2.
It's not
Okay.
the worst.
But yeah, I mean, big losses either way from big names. Like, especially if Brooks is out for the season, which I don't know if he will be.
Do we know that? It sounded like it probably wasn't a season injury.
I don't think it was. I don't know. I think I saw something today that he might be on the IR, but that would, set him to come back at some point during the season, probably later in the season. I think IR is 8 weeks typically, or something that you have to leave the guys out for.
Yeah, because I think Brandon Graham is like more historical. He's like much more of like a legend in Philly, but I think losing Brooks would be like a much bigger loss for this team.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, offensive line is so damn key. It's
And he's like one of the best at his position in the whole league.
It makes or breaks you.
I don't
So real
think
quick,
he's gonna be out that long. Isn't like a torn pec or something.
pectoral muscle, shoulder, or something like that. Real quick, Brendan Graham, Eagles Hall of Fame.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
Brandon Brooks, Eagles Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be, honestly, yeah.
I think they
If
both
he
make
plays
it.
here longer, I think.
Okay. Yeah, if he finishes out his career, he's got to be.
I think
in
Brandon Graham probably made it the second that he had that strip sack.
Well,
Maybe before that, honestly.
if anybody has a second statue, it'll be that.
Yeah.
So Josh Sweat then, with Brandon Graham going out, does he definitely get the 7 sacks?
Honestly, I think that's a yes.
How many does he have so
Yes.
far?
Whereas people might have been iffy on it so far. Maybe you're coming over to this side.
0.
I think I said no to this like last week too.
Brits is against it because he hasn't seen anything yet. Honestly, yeah, he hasn't shown me anything that I should have seen by Joshua at this point. Honestly,
I think he's had a couple good pressures, but
then again, you had Carrigan over, like I said, getting more plays than Sweat.
that's surprising. I don't understand that.
Kind of questionable.
Yeah.
All right, let's go down because we got to wrap up here. But Darius Slay, 2 picks on the year. Hasn't had any this season. His most in any season is 8, and his average across his 8 years before this year, 20 over his 8 years, so average 2.5. So I set it at 2 here. Does he get 2 picks on the season?
I think I said yes to this, and I'm gonna say
I'll say yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes again.
He has to, right? Otherwise, why are we paying you?
Exactly. I think he's gonna.
Alex,
I think he's gonna step up at some point.
Alex
I think
Singleton.
you'd hope so, right? Like
Yeah.
unless he gets hurt, you'd hope he gets 2 picks.
Yeah.
And if we're getting 14 picks as a team, then absolutely he's got to get 2. He's got to.
He has to.
I think that once Rodney McLeod comes back, it'll be easier. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it probably will.
It's gonna feel good to have him back. That's gonna be rewarding.
I think he, like low key, is potentially like the captain of the entire defense, almost. Like especially with Brandon Graham going down, he's gonna have to step up and be like a big leader.
Talked about this before. The lineup leader. I think we really think it's between all these guys. It was Brandon Graham and I think McLeod personally. So Alex Singleton.
Brought up with Jenkins.
Yeah, and he kind of had that mentorship, coming from Jenkins. Singleton, 100 combined tackles. He is at, or he had 120 last season. He has a lot this season. He has 19 so far, 2 games. So 10 average.
I think he gets this, but
he has to, right?
Like, yeah, I mean, I think he has to do it, or else it's just bad if he doesn't.
Honestly, the only good linebacker.
He needs to know how to learn how to wrap somebody up, though, because he's one of the
I'm
guys who struggles.
I'm really disappointed with Eric Wilson so far. I gotta say.
Well, our linebackers just haven't been good, and I feel like Singleton. I do think he could get 100 tackles. He gets the tackles, but he also misses a lot of tackles.
Yeah.
To me, he's like another player that's sort of like Greg Ward, where like I'm glad he's here and he's doing like okay, but he's one of those players that like I hope gets
pads the stats.
We want someone
really
better than that, ideally. Like that's the same thing we were talking about last week with Greg Ward.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he's getting those tackles just because he's on the defense, and the defense is on the field for so long.
I don't know. I would say he's better than Greg Ward comparison, but I see what you're saying. I don't exactly disagree. So Quez Watkins, does he end up being the receiving yards leader after a day like yesterday?
God.
Has
No.
117. Devontae Smith 16 yards.
I'm gonna say yes, just to my prediction of him having a breakout year stays true.
Well, let's make sure we know the facts here. He had 2 catches yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had 2 catches
for
he had 2 catches
117
week
yards.
1.
Two
I
big
think
boy
He's gonna
catches.
get rolling though.
I
He's
just
gonna get
personally think
rolling.
I think that if our wide receiver 3 is leading the team in receiving yards and our 2 first-round picks aren't, that's a problem. So I'm gonna hopefully say no.
I'm gonna say no out of
Remember,
out of hope.
Yeah, but that could
lot
also
of- yeah.
be that could be skewed a little bit as well, because if Quez is
That's true.
catching 50+ yard bombs on his plays, and Rieger is getting his his dink and dunk 10-15ers.
Just Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah.
I just
Reminds me
hope
of a
that our
little
offense,
Deshaun Jackson in him.
he's got Deshaun
Phrase
Jackson.
of the week is dink and dunk.
It is
True.
thinking Jackson. I just hope that our offense isn't like entirely relying on huge throws to Quez Watkins, which is why I'm kind of hoping that he's not.
I like when we utilize
focal
him.
point,
I like
'cause
it
that's
like
like
we,
not going to work every time.
yeah.
Like a screen.
I
but
like when we utilize
reverse
him
guy.
to use his speed after the catch. You know, that's why I
Yeah.
like it. That's why I think we should use him more often.
Yeah, I don't know why you don't put him as like a crossing route slant guy. Like
He should.
Right.
just get the ball in his hands. He can break a couple ankles.
He's gonna get separation. Like he's probably like one of the
Yeah.
with that speed he has. Like nobody's gonna be able to keep up with him.
But I mean,
they
if
can
the
use that
long
speed
ball's
also
there,
to
throw it down.
open the defense up and force the secondary to be pushed back.
Yeah.
Yep. And then lean on the run. Jordan Mailata, top 100 player. Again, it's like
talking about the top 100 list, like
the
Yeah, on the
top 100 list, which I think is voted by the
According to
players,
who?
right? But
it's
I think
voted
it's
on
the
by the
players.
players. Yeah.
Do you think he could make it? I mean, they like putting like hyped up new young guys on that list, and I mean,
That's
if he
just
has a
why
big
I'm saying,
season,
yeah.
he could go up
He's
there.
having a good year so far. I got to see more. I'm gonna say no for now.
Okay.
But it's
He's
a
a
possibility.
monster, dude.
It's a possibility.
He's a monster.
He is a monster.
He's so good.
I want to say yes, but like I don't know.
He's so good.
Actually, no. I'll change it. I'm going yes.
Go back and watch a play against the Falcons. He crushes a guy, like slams him
He's
into
scary
another
strong.
player with one arm.
He's scary
with
strong,
one arm.
dude. He's scary.
You gotta watch the highlight. After I watched that, this was an easy.
He's dinking
He's
dunking.
so good.
He's dinking
He's
dunking
so
full grown
good.
men.
He's like the most powerful and biggest offensive lineman in the league. I feel like.
Dunking defensive ends.
And in another highlight, I saw him pick a guy up, dunk him in his large Dunkin' coffee, and then take a bite out of him. So
for me, I feel like Jordan Mailata is almost like the Aaron Donald of the offensive line, sort of. And
That's a great
and I think
comparison.
he hasn't like reached his potential yet, but he could get there. So I think he definitely could be top 100.
Yeah, I mean the guy's built like a freaking truck.
So good. So
not
good.
only is he big, he's just so athletic. He moves much faster than anybody else that size.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I changed my mind to yes. I'm going yes on that.
That was an easy argument to make to
Hop on
get
the
to
hype
sway Brits. All right, grab your tickets. All right.
Australian, he plays guitar.
With that said, with the extension to Mailata and I think Sweat this week or two, right? So so Jalen says goodbye. It's an L for the week, but a win because you guys got the Philly escape pod. That's right. If you comment Dink and Dunk and Duncan, I'm gonna make a judgment call here, boys. What do we want to give our fans anything? You want to do a give out for any comments that we get?
Wait, okay, how about this? If we get 5 comments that say Dink and Dunk.
5 comments, 5 different
comments.
people.
No, we'll
If
do
we get 5 comments
we'll do a
that say
giveaway to
Dink and
one
Dunk,
of them. We'll do
if we get 5 comments that say Dink and Dunk, then one person in the comment section gets a $5 Dunkin' gift card.
All right, 5 for 5. 5 for 5.
5 for 5.
I like it.
But
5 for 5.
But not only on our YouTube. How about on every one of our social medias?
Yeah, comment Dink and Dunk, and we'll drop a Dunkin' gift card.
All right. So if you do it on our YouTube video, if you do it on our Twitter handle, or if you do it on our Instagram, how about 2 of the 3, 2 whatever, just comment Dink We'll give you a $5 Dunkin'
We're
gift
giving
card.
away money at this
Clearly,
point.
Caputi.
Either
Clearly,
way,
Caputi is coming on
We
the
don't-
fly with this
this is
promotion.
on
so
it's a judgment call, but yeah, we'll get
definitely not.
we'll get that $5 Dunkin' card ready for you, Kasparek, and then we'll see you guys next time on
Wait,
on
and just for reference to the audience, I still have not received my Eagles tank top. So will you get the
you
Dunkin'
didn't
gift
send
card?
me
I don't know.
you didn't send me what you wanted. You didn't send me what you wanted, so that's on you. Send it to me
Fair
and I'll get it to you. All right. We'll catch you guys next week. Bring your coffee to the next show, and we'll catch you on episode 17.
See you guys
But,
next week. Go Birds.
Launch and landed, my friends.